Akekre mwawale. Coronavirus. Afina enyoshi. Nina wakeminshe kenyamo. Waminfo afini ho ya lenini. Ni asang waminpe ehe lekeminshe. Anokwa afife afikemling umanye ke amane. Shimwale noni yo afini ba nemling kra. Waminyahe ejake watrishe peke kekeji. Ebabla woke umanye shije amane. Waje afile shishin. Ni wamin eshejubang. Wamomo kunyojin kra asang wachamo kunyojin wate oshimurada wayatawo wadang ma wachuo ni jara ni wokena ni bi ni jara wala afi kumling sanimiba ne umanye jiu amane jiu bo ba chomling boni utawo aharabata nyon lese blashi ta ke boni efi oda afile bikome peke keta monyojin ne onye oketo yo hohie moke fomohi. Shife sele wanijiang ejewi wake minshe kenya mohiem lingpeng aharabatahu ite mongne she shiwo heno kamo nimlingwa. Fio le uflon bablao bi nyomai enyokene nina woyemling bile ya minshe mling asang wana hetruijmo ocho kri shishijele isa ohimeng Eha adun wie mo mi ohime jio won le hebe. Shina yemi hununi cho kri le sele. Nyon le eaye ebuawo. Ni ehi wono kufe modong. Bemling ni wayi womang heli bijon le se. Na mwa wanita mwa kekre le bati wa shitruka. Biko meje na mo peke keshe wapupai ano. Keke ni eboin wa shiai ana boy le shimo. Mimi mama mule keke ni washian chomo pabun. Aguyara fe mo ni afon ho fe mo. Soli moya hunchon ablang. A chair yeli kenu mo kukra. Nichi mo kedang ma tao mo hu ahi. School bibi a mehi a chon loy adeng. Ni follow mung chomo yue loy. Beni mwa wane je ehie pupe. Hena abua mo kutu ba chon ablang. Dan mo hei fe dio tamofun hei. Ni ashini yeli hei amamoshin efojin. Chukole. Wata deng ni wafua hu. Kechon shwe ni washe moko. Lo nyamike na nyusuomo ni kawoting. Menele. Wadamo se fleng ni wayo she. Saniba ke molo ni jomling hu. Fe itse efo. Neke hila fong ne. Eba sawa min she namona. Solimo echon wadehie mochu. Faik pa mo hu watri she ning bele wa heno kamo pe jinyomo moniji wa buba heke wa mongle ni le non ejiewo keje hila fong ne ke bele mwa ne nyon yelimlin soke ni no he wo wajofui wa ya bo aboye ifijin ke ichejin ashishin ya bi ke be fonji namlin afine hu baba na agbi shi ani ibadro wa umanye kolo Nole, mile, ja afile na enyoshinda. Shike ashi na kaimbianle. Bo ohe modeng ni ole ohe no kwemo. Bele, le ode fomo pitio. Chi o na abu keji o chini lo owolo. Wo o na abu ke ogugo na chi nole. Ni solimohu ka fon. No dani o na wala. Ni okepe afi ni yo ohiele. Bonia fe ni onye oye imling omanye fe nye waladong.
So can you tell us how you came about this story and and in your writing also, how do you make sure that the gang culture is infused in your writing generally, not just with this?
So this was written during the period of coronavirus. So it's recounting the events of the year, that particular year, and all that happened. Talking about what we used to do before, where we could see people give hugs, shake hands, exchange greetings, laugh, and make merry. But during that time, we had to stop all these. We couldn't have any parties, go attend funerals freely. We couldn't exchange greetings and enjoy ourselves as communal as we know the Ghanaian system to be. All these came to a halt. So I'm trying to recount the experiences of coronavirus within the period that it was taking place. And I'm speaking from the point that I don't know what happens at the end of the year, but whatever happens, you can decipher, or for now, you can tell whether that year ended on a good note or not. So this is me documenting coronavirus for future, yes, for Ghana speakers, for future generations.
Ni?
She said yes. So talking about how I infuse Ghana culture into my writing. For my first piece, which was Walata, a short story submitted for the short story prize, I made sure to talk about the naming systems. I made sure to, because our naming systems as Ghana people are distinct. So when you say Amoko, you know that the person is a second child. When you say Dede, you know the person is a first child. So as a Ghana person, anytime these names are mentioned, you can tell. You don't necessarily need to know, yes. So it's easy to identify that this is it. And our culture is very unique, from our funerals to our naming ceremonies and all other things. We have a very unique system. And so it's good to document that for the future generations. So I make sure that anytime I write, I inculcate a bit of these things as a source of information so that other people can fall on it in future. Yes.
I want to pick up quickly on that, and it's good that Nee has the microphone, because I think when you pick up a lot of literary texts that are in Ga, you will find that a lot of the stories are also about foreign traditions. So for the stories are also about people from far away, Accra or Ghana, you know. And that was very interesting, because earlier Nee and we all had this conversation about all these books about people of Arabia, you know, which is written in Ghana. It's a story about Arab tales, completely written in Ghana. And there are several of these books. You know, what's your view on this, and why is it that we find a lot of these and not much about Ghana people, or let's say Ghana people writing about other people in Ghana or sub-region?
It's very, very simple. The people who colonized us, you know, wanted to indoctrinate us. So most of the Ghana text, most of the Ghana text, or most African languages were first translated into the Bible first. You know, the Bible was translated into local language so that we can be Christianized, we can be cleansed, you know, in a way. So that is why also at the time in Ghana, for instance, there was a vernacular bureau. you know. Why was there a vernacular bureau? Because the colonizers thought that you are speaking a language that
Is
beneath
exactly their language.
a language that they have not imposed on you, you know. So they described it as vernacular, you know. So the people who colonized us, this is like what they did, and that's why a lot of the texts are either Islamic tales or Christian stories, or about Christian missionaries, you know, by the Presby or the Methodist, you know. So there are a lot of these things, and they were the people who actually started writing or putting together Ghana text.
Yeah. Nee, I think since you have the mic, it would be good to pick another poem from here, and then after Nee's poem, maybe we can open the floor for some questions or comments or views from the audience. Nee.
So since the dollar has hit 12, let me read this one. I call it Ghana. Au Ghana. Ayewo. Ni ayewo poto. Ayewo hien kese. Ni ayewo keje wen ke bashishi. Ayewo blibo. Ayewo ayewo mobo mobo. Ayewo ni wogbo. Ayewo shiwonye wo yue. Ayewo ye kane shishi. Ayewo ye dumli hu. Ayewo blibo. Nye kenye banye. Shina noe. Nye amale keju. Eyen echon edin. Anukwali etan. Usofu hu ingamo amena bui. Mamli ewa. Awogana mlin fo. Ayele. Ayele blibo.
I mean, this one, I want to pass the microphone.
Letter to the government.
I mean, it's exciting. That, for example, let me actually turn this around. The way you present this poem is in a way that shows or tries to send a message that Ghana is victimized. You know, Ghana as a personality, you know, is victimized. But what's my question? Why are you doing this? And I mean, we all understand the situation that we are in, even if we don't. But we are in a certain situation. Can you hear me? We are in a certain situation where we have economic difficulties. Why do you find the need to say or present Ghana in a victimhood position? You know, because I'm just imagining that you could also write this another way. Wow.
So no, Dabi. I'm trying to develop my skill in writing Ghana poetry. Okay, so I've learned how to, or I am learning how to humanize every situation. Like I humanize the traffic. So this is like a skill that I am trying to work on. And you also realize that I used Awogana. Somewhere I said Awogana, which is Mother Ghana, you know. So all of us being in this space or in this project called Ghana, we can definitely feel the effects of the economic hardships.
But there are people doing this. I think that's my question. Okay. Directly on this? Okay.
But it's Mother Ghana. Nobody says Father Ghana. No, thank you. Thank you.
Kina has made me forget my question because I was going to ask you, but now your question is Sandy.
Oh no. Said if
Yeah.
anyone.
No, if anyone has a question or contribution, we can begin taking them now. Or Charlie by alone. Please just mention your name quickly and then your question.
My name is Billy. So when I actually really enjoyed your performance, and what readily came into mind was what I saw at Homo. I mean, the priests, the priestesses. I didn't know it was cockplay actually, but that was how like the way, and I really enjoyed it. I mean, so maybe subconsciously that's where you got it from. It's within your subconscious that your people have been doing it and you've been seeing it, and and kudos. I mean, the Ga language is one of the languages that I think is going extinct somehow in Accra because of the metropolitan nature. So at a point, we read in the news on social media that some schools, even in Accra here, students are given the option whether to learn Twi or Ga. Some don't even learn the Ga at all, which I think shouldn't be. I mean, government must ensure that, because every region speaks its language or teaches its language. Why should that be different when it comes to Accra? So I think that this is in the right direction, and it should, I mean, you guys should push it to make sure that the Ga language doesn't, because it's a very beautiful language. I speak Ga, I can speak Twi very well. Ga is my language, basically. So for me, I do not want Ga to go extinct. My children learn Ga, they speak Ga at home, and they speak English. Okay, we go now. Well, one panya fight. It's a beautiful language. It's a beautiful language. I mean, we should do more of these things just so that, I mean, it stays. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I don't understand Ga, but that's besides the point. I think what you guys are doing is just fantastic. And, I know we are in a crisis with our languages, more so Ga, but don't let that stop you. Don't worry about where's my audience. Just continue with what you are doing. I rarely give writers more work because I think writing is enough of a big chore. But I think and I see that all of you can read and write Ga. So I will ask you that every now and then, just take, I can even give it to you, an English poem, or even a poem written in Russian that has been translated into English, and translate that into Ga and share it with Ga speakers. So you see what I'm saying? Because you are in a really, it shouldn't be a privilege for people to know how to read and write their languages, but you are in a privileged position. So, and I think that could also help your poetry skills, taking a well-known great poem and translating it into Ga. But fantastic, fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for this panel. I want to know it's a great contribution you guys are doing. I want to know what you guys do individually to promote like the language. Because yes, you've produced this, and Ga is also taught in our schools. I believe students can go out of their way to learn it more than what is in the classroom. And I believe that you guys have the potential to bring that out of the students. And so I want to ask you guys, like, what do you do do you do personally to promote or to promote the language? And secondly, too, I think that with this book and what you guys are doing, you can have a roadshow doing this across schools to promote the language. So and to promote your work and to promote literacy and literary works among students. So I want to know, like, what you guys are individually doing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I didn't get your name, but let me start off by saying that, for example, if you just go down the book aisle that is right across from us, you see this book there is Ga Picture Alphabet, which is a fascinating illustrative material that you can use for yourself or for children. And the words were provided by Nia Ikwe Parks, who is a very famous Ghanaian poet and writer. So there are as writers, as people who are within the literary space, we have taken it upon ourselves to do what is necessary to ensure that in a global world, our languages can stand on their own, not by copying what other languages are doing per se, but they will be languages in their own right that is spoken and used and written in and about across the world. So this is an example. I know that there are other ones that are done that you can also get from Flip Eye or Dakpabli or Book Nook, for example. So anyway, I'll pass it on for some comments from here on your question.
Hello. Yes, your question. Personally, I have a social media platforms, yeah, where I post my works over there, and then I'm getting followers. I also teach as well, so my students get to know all these things I'm doing. So we are on the right path. So poco a poco we are getting there.
Okay, so I think the first thing is to speak Ga. Because I don't recall a point in my life, in whatever classroom I found myself, where I didn't speak Ga. To me, Ga was never vernacular. So I spoke it in the classroom with my friends, outside of the classroom, all the way, and studied Ga when I was in Ebui Girls through to the university. So you get to Nyamenehine. You get to a point in the university where there's a course you have to take regarding Ghanaian languages, and it's so appalling that we can have just 8 students in the class out of over 100 or 200 taking Ga or Ebe or Tree, and the rest will opt to study English in that particular classroom situation. So I have been a proud Ga. I read Ga in church. I lead the service in Ga. I am Ga-blooded, and that will not change, regardless of where I find myself. It's a great stepping stone for me, and I'm proud to be associated with the Ga people. Our language is beautiful. We have depth. We have knowledge. We are full of wisdom, and that's the way to go, being proud, first and foremost. Thank you.
Okay. Well, this is the first time I'm getting published in a book, because really I used to write for myself. I used to write for myself. I didn't think that people would be interested in reading the things that I write. But I read after this one getting published. I realized that okay, I can get into this and take it on as a project. So what I'm now doing is to go back to the old text and try to understand the language structure itself, like learn it well. Because before you can teach, you have to learn, before you can impact that kind of knowledge. Also being here, we've just decided that when we live here, we're going to do a collaborative work, and then also put the things that we write into audiovisual materials that can be circulated. So that is one way by which we can promote the language. Ghans, or I think Africans, are naturally poets. If you greet somebody, mimba manye, oh manya blau, oh obiete ameyote, na nyese o iradon. You can, before you start talking, like there's back and forth dialogue, which is just poetry, just nice poetry. But call and response, yes. We have this afia anebani now. It's like it's a whole poetry on its own. But I think we take these things for granted. But we are naturally gifted people, natural talent, natural orators. Yeah, man.
So what we do as Write Ghana is to help promote Ghanaian languages. So this is our first project that we have published. in 2019, we organized the first Ghanaian Languages Literature Festival, which we featured 6 languages: Dagbani, Twi, Ewe, Dangbe, Ga, and Fanti. So what we want to do is, as time goes on, we'll be publishing in the other languages as well, because we believe that if we document, it will encourage people to read. We also feel that maybe people are not willing to read because we don't have the materials. Yes, it's not accessible. There could be materials, but it is not easily accessible. So what we as Right Ghana Literary Initiative seeks to do is to encourage people by publishing, organizing workshops. During the festival that we organized, we made a call for people to send in their script. We noticed that even though people are willing to send the script, the language, when it comes to it's appalling. So one way that we are trying to make sure that whatever we get is through workshops. And these are what we organize. Thanks to COVID, we're able to organize a lot during COVID era. Anyway, it's not anyway. But we seek to continue to do that so that our languages don't die. So that is what we are doing in a small way. So let's all contribute. Let's ask our children to speak the languages at home. When they go to school, let them speak English. But when they come home, please speak your local dialect with them. That is what we can do. Yeah, your Ghanaian languages, Twi, Fanti, Dagbani, whatever. Speak it with them. Yeah.
So we'll take some more poetry, and then yeah, there's a question. Okay. So we'll take that question, and then Namanwa will do a poem and.
Hello. 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 I can't hear myself. Can you hear me? Hello. Okay. I can hear myself now. It's not a question. Probably a suggestion and an addition to what you're doing. I reckon, I have a 4-year-old, and I reckon that lots of beginner studies, Ghana, worldwide actually, the children do cartoons a lot. Okay? It's what they see. I mean, so just getting back to that book he's holding, Ghana Picture Alphabet. So we put, I'm with the publisher. I work with the publisher of that book. And we put pictures to the alphabet. So whatever the child is looking at, or even an adult who has just visited Ghana and wants to learn the language, whatever you're looking at, you can relate and just pronounce whatever it is as it is, and you know what you are pronouncing. All right? So I'm just trying to say that our children watch cartoons to learn a lot of things. If it is a tree, if it is an apple tree, if it's a whatever fruit, they learn by watching. So it's easier when you put your text to, you know, visual stuff for whatever level of studying. Okay? Especially, we haven't had this opportunity to even know our alphabet. I mean, if you're not a Ga, you wouldn't like her. I mean, a lady over there, every girls. You would not be in, I mean, you're speaking it, but you don't even know how to spell what you're speaking. But with the watching and seeing what is written underneath, you know what it is. It's easier. So I would say that your work should collaborate with a cartoonist, and it's a quicker way of learning. I mean, if I say, futuristic stuff, it's a quicker way of learning for me. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to read a poem which is sort of a reprimand, not written by me, but recounted by my father. He studied it years ago, and it was about the Ga language and it's going extinct. So I think there was a foresight of sorts right from that period that this would happen. And unfortunately, we allowed it to happen. But I hope we can salvage the situation. I hope you enjoy it. Oh, nyame fe ni afo ye mimling. Nye boa mi na ni ma wie na etwe. Dole sane ko kami kenye ting. Nye wolon kwelo mi ke ole. Kejani koe olai no bebele. Miji money yoga fan no. Boy pi batomi ye blame belemling. Miye, niameba, niamete. Afi yo hai enyo kese nele. English ji boni ba pemise. Ni se batomi. Bone wolon kwelo ele buo femi. Ene ji saniko ni do mi pi. Kemi dwen he a hunle. Minu shishin. Ni mina no he wong ni mi mambi ebo mi he modern. Ni amegbeo mi he guo mu. Au. Nye kaya ni nye susua. Ani nye hie ekpa so taleno. So kataman so ta play lemlinle. Je mi no nye ni me kebo oshe. Nye abia nye me. Kenye cheme. Nye abia nye ni me. Kenye na me. Ni agbanye. Ni nye liake. Mi. Mi fio no fe no nyoma shin. Boy mombo mi he modern. Shida pi mi yo ke hazimaman. Nyomo yue mo efe ekemima. Lalawi3m pi hu ekemila. Olonkweloi. Nye following agale hi modern kra nye boa. Koni wasele nye kalaji. Nye yualadon.
Nee says he has a quick take. And there was an earlier conversation this morning on writing the Ghanaian experience and using Ga as an example, where I think there was a gentleman who asked you the question. The question was, who wrote all the? He said, why am I asking your question for you? No, I think you should ask your question, and he can have his quick take.
No, I have a critique of what she just read. How come this is trying to, in a very sleek way, trying to praise Zimmerman?
That's why I asked you to ask the question, because
No, but obviously the truth is just telling the truth. Because in actual fact, the development of the Ga writing could be attributed to him. Because I think German and Ga have some sort of similarity. And so in writing the Ga, it was quite easy for him to get the orthography, to put down things in Ga. It's not as though to praise him, but just to tell the truth. Historically, this is right. He contributed a lot to the development of our orthography, and we can't take that away from him.
You know, Zimmerman is saying that, or whoever wrote this is saying that, Imambi, I'm a born here modern.
Yes, and it's true. So it's true. It's plain true.
Nee just said that who the author, the poet here is saying that his people do not do their best to uplift or write about their own language or write in their own language, and Na and I just agreed. Yeah, he's got a point.
Yes, it's the language speaking.
No, this is the Ga language speaking.
Yes.
Okay, and the Ga language is saying that his or her people are not doing much to preserve it.
It's giving
and
honor
that
to
it
whom
is
honor is
it
due.
is Zimmerman who
A boy, he modding, and it's the truth. You can't take that. It's historically, you can't take that away from Zimmerman. He did it, and all of us have him to thank because he helped to put the language. Maybe by now there'll be no one to have taken up that task. Who knows? And we will not be here writing in the Ga language. So we owe him some thanks anyway.
So I should come back with my question.
Two.
Hello. I should come back with my question. Yes, I'm repeating my question. Who wrote the Ghana Bible for us? Who wrote the Kwapim Bible for us? Who wrote the Asante Bible for us? Who wrote the Fante Bible for us? So the Ghana speakers, answer for you. Who wrote the Ghana Bible for us? Simple question.
Okay, so about the Ghana part, I should think there are so many contributors because over the years, the text has had to be edited, and so there's right from the point that it was done by missionaries, it's undergone several edits, and because the language itself is dynamic and has been changing over the years, so from time to time there has been a review of the Bible, or by the Bible Societies. They employ translators and they take a look at the text. Yes, so several people have done that work.
You have tried to answer my question. That's not what the answer I want. The original translation into the Ghana language, the alphabet. It's not that we are introducing the alphabet to us. It's just that this gentleman has brought a book telling us about the alphabet. Who wrote the original alphabet for the Ghana language before we wrote it? I'm not talking about revision of the language. Original Ghana, the alphabet. Did you mention all the alphabets to us? Say the alphabet and let's hear you.
A B D A F G H I J K L M N O O P R C T U W V Y Z.
So who wrote it and showed you the pronunciation?
I think we can talk. No, you speak.
All right, let's talk about love. This is entitled Davibile, Davibile.
Maybe he would.
30 seconds.
Program, so we have to go back and do the research. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll take a poem. Yeah.
All right. So this,
One of your freestyles.
We are requesting a freestyle.
you can give me 1 hour, I will do it. All right. Agbala chicken kenja kitchen lile fe klalo ke han licking. Ona kong ke chofi indomie ke bifi ono jenfe jiji banku acha sankun ken ye banku akomo yele ken pabele atawele ken shawele atoma wulu ko moplete abu kente ken bonto do pete ona wonu na fi kofun ekumato bambeso me wala cheke. It's too short for you, eh? You enjoying? Oh, the same thing again. Oh, okay, let me do it. Mimebo, je koliena, mitanka so no papana. Migbe, ni machabupa, ofo no fio igbana. Asole, ulake ganjigana ni gana jiga, wo chu shikanshona. Mene, ofo wo dwe mi heni eshoena. Ojo, ala ajo. Ayenjo olijo ya lajo. Ine akashwe, mile. Odo tu ya edo. Chemu nyemu. Uboda togba shon ke ko lemfo. Anopa eya reho. Mimebo. Ye ko liena. Mitanka so nu papana. Migbe. Ni machobopa. Ofo no fio igbana. Iwa mi she o manche mi no kamo denche mene ke wosese awo menuncho ata na nyungo o mi ben mu danafo milambo o le beso mna ni no wa hana yemi awi o folo fon hwe atri di ke se bi o fo mininde ke jedun ke bakane mi no ha me na no wala ke ni wujin aje ke jedun ke bakane mi no ha me na no wala ke ni wujin aje ke jedun ke bakane mi ke jedun ke bakane mi Au, kejadun ke bakanemi no hamena na wala ke nin wuji. Kejadun ke bakanemi.
Okay, I think this is a good way to end our conversation. I wonder if Rita, you have something to say very quickly. While Rita gets ready, I will say that after this session, we have coming up a number of sessions. This in the courtyard is fact versus fiction, reflections on narrative power. It's conversation between Kweku Sechi Ado and Atukwesing. At Muntin is the second time we met. A reading and discussion with Frances Williams. It's moderated by MP Bayer. In the front yard on the other side, we have about the Samira Baumia Literature Prize. It's a presentation and selected readings. At FCA, we have By the Fireside, performances with E. Anansi Library. So if you want to go to FCA, we have a shuttle parked outside. It's a white van. You can get in. It will take you there and bring you back. And there's also at the library next to me here, Floating Between Worlds in African Fiction with Molara Wood and Nyani Nkrumah, moderated by Kobina Graham. Rita.
So the books are available at Book Nook, and we also have this session. We have this book. It's The Day Diasa or Our Day. This is a tree book. It's colorful enough. It's 35 CDs. So yes, it's affordable. So get some for your children as you go home. So Book Nook is available. When you go to them, they'll be able to give it to you. So okay. Thank you.
I heard there was a question about getting copies of the book. Like she said, there are copies here. It's not recorded yet. It's not recorded yet, but I think that's the next step in this anthology. And so I think that answers the question from there. Yeah. Okay, just Madam Taylor.
Hello.
Hi.
Ofane J Ganyo Jimmy. She into school ya Colena. St. Mary's. In Germany in Kase Ganyo. Wominto mabiake o woloe. Okababa radio no atomo audio book. Because in nyanyome pi ya abochi ni amebi basumo na mekane gan poetry. Ni boni nyeruo is different from boni mokobakane. Omin panye fai ofane yekaba audio mi. Nye fen ye kane ye bi nye no nye bakane je mokoklo. Koni wonna boni a pronounce gan words na ke romance bomotomo wo brother ni yo jeme hani garemo boy kick me biane.
Thank you very much. So I think the suggestion is well taken. For those who didn't understand, she was talking about doing an audiobook for radio that is read by the authors themselves. We want to thank you very much for joining us, and hope to see you on this panel again next year. Yeah.
Hi. A quick one, please. You can get in touch with me on Facebook, Lalawi3m, YouTube, Lalawi3m, Instagram, Lalawi3m. That's there.